So first, to get to the gravy part, we need to fry some chicken. So I have 4 skin on, boneless chicken thighs. Then I'm going to salt and pepper. You see a lot of people add the salt and pepper to the flour. That really doesn't, you have to put a lot of salt and pepper in the flour to get it actually salty on the bird. So I put it directly onto the chicken, and I removed the bones from this and trimmed up the chicken, getting rid of excess skin and fat, but I didn't throw that away. I'm going to use that to season the oil for the drippings to make the gravy. So about a 1/4 cup of lard or oil, whatever you use. Looking for just a little bit above medium heat. If you got 1 to 10, it'd be about a 6. And the trimmings that I took off, the bones, go ahead and put them in there and let them start to cook. Plus they'll give you something to nibble on. So here I have 1/2 cup of flour. And I start skin side down. Now, if you were to ask your grandma or your mother about making gravy, a lot of it's so much by eye. How much flour do you use? But one of the constants that they, especially with my grandma and my mother, is they always use the same skillet. So that's one variable taken away, to where they could just pour the milk in and know exactly where they need to be. My grandmother used to raise 600 chickens a year, butcher all 600, sell 300 of them, keep the other 300 to feed the farm hands. And so basically she made chicken and gravy 300 times a year. Times 30, 35 years, that's over 9,000 times she made gravy. And the Japanese believe that you need to do something 10,000 times to achieve perfection. So she was pretty dang close to perfection. But using the same skillet every time gets rid of one of the unknown factors of how much to put in for ingredients. So I'm looking around 6 to 7 minutes aside. And the pieces of skin and fat you need to pull out so they don't burn. And through the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even into the mid 60s, you fed the farmhands. And that noonday meal was called dinner, and it was chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy. It was full of what we would call supper now. One of my first jobs was working on a farm in the Atwoods, and we set irrigation pipe morning and night. You know, we're in 6th or 7th grade. Kid I went to school with would swing by my house, pick me up on his Yamaha motorcycle, and we'd ride out there and set pipe at 6:30 in the morning. And Mrs. Atwood would have breakfast for us every morning. Bacon, eggs, waffles, pancakes. So not only and we thought we were rolling in the dough, we were making $20 a day, plus we were getting this great breakfast, and we had late morning, afternoon to go do whatever, and be back out there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening and set pipe. You know, when my grandmother fried chicken, she had a big Griswold skillet that I'm sure she could fit 1.5 chickens in. Probably one of the largest skillets that Griswold makes. And that was her go-to, that she fried steaks, chicken in. So it was always constant, that one skillet. So to make gravy, she knew how much milk instinctively to pour in there. So I'm going to take a little bit of that oil out of there. There's quite a bit. So my camera battery died there, not sure what it caught, but I spooned out most of the oil, left just... So between cameras overheating and camera batteries, so I started out with a half a cup of flour to dredge the chicken. So I'm wanting basically a quarter cup of flour. Basically medium low. Looking to cook the flour. So 3.5 cups of milk. And if I was cooking a whole chicken, whole fried chicken or more, I wouldn't need to do this, but I'm going to add basically a little over a teaspoon of better than bullion chicken bullion. And my old buddy Walter used to tell me, when you're making gravy, just keep adding salt, pepper. And this was usually my job when I was little, stand there and stir the gravy. At least until my younger sister come along, then I delegated to her. And when you stir, make sure to scrape the bottom and the sides. First time I've used this gas stove to make gravy. So the cost of this, the 4 chicken thighs, basically $5. The potatoes was $3. And if you want to count the milk and the can of green beans, you can basically go $10 for this meal. So basically cheaper than 1/4 pound meal at McDonald's. You could have fried chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy with green beans. And if you're going to cook this at home, start with boiling the potatoes, because by the time they're done and mashed, the chicken would be done and you'd be just about done with the gravy. So in 30-40 minutes, you can prepare this meal at home. The gravy, just be patient. It's actually starting to smell like chicken gravy now. The thickness is starting to get there. So we have our fried chicken, green beans, our mashed potatoes. And our gravy. So that's how I make my Homestyle Creamy Chicken Gravy. I'll do some other videos on the other Thanksgiving style chicken turkey gravy. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.